Cincinnati. Let's talk football. Let's talk heart. And let's talk Bengals. Because the jungle is alive and well, and with OTAs wrapped up, the energy in Cincinnati is only getting louder. I'm here to break it all down, clear, sharp, and straight from the field. Today, we're zeroing in on 4 major takeaways from the Cincinnati Bengals OTAs, straight from the eyes of Paul Denner Jr., one of the sharpest Bengals insiders out there. And let me tell you, there's a lot to be excited about. Before we jump into the latest headlines out of Cincinnati, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and don't forget to punch that bell icon so you're the first to know every time we drop Bengals news. Got it? Great. Let's get to the action. First up, the defensive backs. And let me just say, they're not here to take a back seat. This group came into OTAs hungry, physical, and flying around in drills. You can tell there's a chip on their shoulders. The secondary knows the pressure is on this season, and they're already setting the tone. We'll unpack that and more, including how the team is shaping up ahead of minicamp, what players are stepping up, and where this roster looks deeper than ever.
One of the biggest question marks from last season is quickly becoming one of the most intriguing storylines heading into 2025, the Bengals secondary. Last year, that unit lacked consistency, and it showed. This offseason, fans expected big moves, but the front office didn't go shopping in free agency or early in the draft, so the spotlight turned inward. Would these young defensive backs step up or stumble again? So far, they're answering the call. Reports coming out of OTAs, including insights from veteran Bengals insider Paul Denner Jr., paint a promising picture. New defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo's replacement, Justin Allen, has wasted no time pushing the group to its limits, and the young core is responding. We're talking Cam Taylor-Britt, DJ Turner, Josh Newton, and Jordan Battle, each of them flashing at different points throughout the sessions. On Tuesday, it was Taylor-Britt who turned heads with a highlight reel interception while matched up in the slot against rookie Jermaine KC. That's a critical development, especially with the team moving on from Mike Hilton and looking for reliable answers inside. The Bengals aren't boxing their corners into predictable roles anymore. Flexibility is the theme. Press coverage, fluid matchups, and more aggressive positioning across the board. And that interception, it wasn't just athletic. It was disciplined, tight coverage from a player often criticized for losing focus in key moments. That's the evolution the Bengals need from Taylor-Britt. Yes, we've seen the explosiveness, but he's been burned on the basics before. In 2025, there's no room for mental lapses. He knows it, the coaches know it. And based on his performance at OTAs, he's had to prove something. If this group keeps growing at this pace, the Bengals might just flip their biggest weakness into a major strength.
One of the most fascinating shifts in this offseason story, position flexibility. And that brings us to 2 big names, Dax Hill and Cam Taylor-Britt. While Taylor-Britt is already making waves with reps inside and out, Dax Hill remains a bit of a mystery. Coaches are taking a slow, calculated approach with him, limiting contact, managing workload, but make no mistake, they need him to step up. Whether he lands in the slot, rotates outside, or becomes a roaming chess piece, Hill's versatility and leadership could define how far this defensive backfield goes in 2025. These aren't just athletes, they're a group in transition. And with Cincinnati running it back with largely the same core of DBs from last season, it'll fall on the new defensive leadership to extract every ounce of potential. But while the secondary evolves, 2 unsung heroes from last season are putting their stamp on this year's offseason, Chase Brown and Andre Iosivas. No headlines, no spotlight, just serious work. After practices ended Tuesday, both players stayed on the field a full 45 minutes longer than anyone else. While the rest of the team had hit the showers, Brown and Iosivas were still grinding. Root work, footwork, hand placement, reps on reps. And this is where things get real. You already know the stars, Burrow, Chase, Higgins, but depth wins seasons. And Iosivas and Brown are quietly becoming 2 of the most important depth pieces on the roster. Iosivas didn't post eye-popping yardage numbers last year, but he did something more valuable. He earned Joe Burrow's trust in the red zone. 6 touchdowns as a rotational wideout? That's not an accident. That's chemistry. That's trust. That's a receiver who finishes plays when it matters most. As for Chase Brown, his speed, his balance, his vision, they're only improving. If he can maintain this momentum into camp, the Bengals' backfield could become more dynamic than it's been in years. 2 day 3 picks, 2 relentless work ethics, 2 players who could help tip the balance in 2025. Think about this. 2 guys drafted outside the first 2 days, Chase Brown, a 5th rounder, and Andrea Iosivas, a 6th rounder out of Princeton, are becoming foundational pieces of this Bengals offense. That's not hype. That's reality. Both players took meaningful steps forward last year, and if they continue on this upward trajectory, this Cincinnati offense could be downright terrifying. Chase Brown turned heads with his burst and vision out of the backfield. What started as spot carries turned into legitimate momentum late in the season. He wasn't just a backup, he was a spark. He hit the hole hard, made defenders miss, and added a wrinkle to the Bengals' ground game that hadn't been there since prime Joe Mixon. And Iosivas? Don't let the late round label fool you. This guy earned Joe Burrow's trust, especially in the red zone where he became a go-to target in clutch moments. 6 touchdowns on limited snaps says all you need to know. That's not luck. That's a receiver making himself essential. Heading into year 3, these two aren't just fighting for playing time. They're helping define the identity of this offense. And for defensive coordinators around the league, that's a problem. Because if Brown continues to develop into a complete back, capable of picking up blitzes, catching out of the backfield, and breaking long runs, and if Iosivas keeps evolving as a high IQ red zone threat, Cincinnati's already loaded offense becomes even harder to defend. It's no longer just about Chase, Higgins, and Burrow. It's about depth, balance, explosiveness from every direction. And if Brown and Iosivas keep trending up, this 2025 Bengals unit could become one of the most unpredictable and dangerous in the entire league. As things currently stand, the Bengals are giving rookie Dylan Fairchild and veteran Lucas Patrick first-team reps at the guard spots. That may not be the Week 1 lineup, but it's a message. This staff expects Fairchild to compete now, not later. Fairchild, the 3rd-round pick out of Georgia, came into the league known for his power and poise, traits you want in a young lineman protecting Joe Burrow. Getting early reps is no small deal. It shows trust, it shows upside, and it shows that the Bengals are serious about solidifying the offensive line long before September. On the other side, Lucas Patrick is no stranger to competition. He's been around Green Bay, Chicago, and while he may not be flashy, he's smart, reliable, and gritty in the run game. He's earned praise from coaches across the board this offseason and could bring just the kind of stability this interior line needs. But don't think the job's locked down. Cordell Volson is still very much in this fight. Though traditionally a left guard, he'll likely get a shot on both sides during camp. He's tough, durable, and eager to bounce back from a rocky 2024. And then there's Jackson Kirkland, a name that isn't flying off headlines but absolutely should be. Before his injury last year, Kirkland was turning heads during preseason. Big frame, fluid feet, and underrated toughness. The Bengals haven't forgotten about him. This camp battle could be one of the most intense of the summer. Several names. 1 goal, protect number. 9 and open lanes for a backfield loaded with potential. One thing's clear, Cincinnati isn't settling. They're building depth, competition, and accountability in the trenches. And when you've got Burrow under center, that's the blueprint. Let's wrap it up with a position battle that's quietly heating up. The fight for the final wide receiver spot on the Bengals roster. While the top of the depth chart is rock solid, Chase, Higgins, and Iosivas, there's still one crucial spot up for grabs. And don't be fooled. This isn't just about depth. Whoever wins this job could play a pivotal role in a high-powered Bengals offense that needs flexibility and resilience over a long season. First up, Charlie Jones. Fans have been waiting to see what he can really do. The flashes are there. He's got that electric return ability, including house calls on both punts and kicks. But his biggest challenge? Staying healthy. If he can stay on the field, Jones brings a spark that's tough to ignore. Then there's Jermaine Burton, the wild card. He's talented, no doubt, but his road to this point has been bumpy. The positive news: according to some inside the locker room, Burton's taken real steps this offseason, growing up, showing commitment, and gaining trust from guys like Burrow and Chase. That's not small praise. But the dark horse in this race might just be Trent Taylor's replacement, Isaiah Williams. Picked up off waivers last year, Williams stepped into the return game role late in the season and earned quiet but meaningful praise from the coaching staff. He didn't make much noise as a receiver, just 2 catches for 6 yards, but inside the building, they see a player who does all the right things and may be ready to do more. If Williams outperforms Jones in camp, that punt return job could be his once again. And if Burton keeps trending the right way, he might not just make the roster, he could be a factor in the passing game. This battle won't be decided in June. It'll unfold in training camp, during reps, during preseason games. But one thing is clear: the Bengals aren't just deep at wide receiver, they're competitive, and that's exactly what you want heading into a make or break year.